Hello everyone, this is Zach, and I'm back again with another video. So in this one, we're going to do some more Reaper stuff today. I'm going to show you how to work with Midi, as well as showing you how easy it is to load samples into Reaper's built-in sampler and play them, and then do some Midi editing. So you can finally have some custom sounds instead of using presets. So first off, I just want to make a quick disclaimer. I'm making this with QuickTime instead of Zoom because I found a better solution to capture the audio. Unfortunately, QuickTime also seems to only want to record in mono, and I'm not sure why that is. I'm going to need to research that and do a little more digging. But as of right now, it's recording in mono as far as I can tell. So unfortunately, we won't be able to hear any panning or anything like that that's going on. So I'll try not to do too much of that. But the samples I'm going to be using do have some stereo content, so just be aware of that. All right, so I'm in the QuickTime window right now, and let's go over to Reaper.
Finder, Reaper application. Open. Reaper v6.42, register.
Cool. Now, before I do anything else, I'm going to actually go to the preferences and have Reaper come through my audio device that I've set up so that we can hear it.
Reaper preferences when table in MIDI key track media audio device audio MacBook Pro speakers aggregate device multi-out
Yep.
multi-out request sample apply button okay request sample rate unchecked 48,000 request block size unchecked apply but okay
alone. I think let's just press OK.
Reaper v6
Cool.
Play stop
Cool. I think we're good.
bar 1 beat 10%.
Alrighty, so I think we're good there. Now let's go ahead and open up our Media Explorer.
Media home.
And just like we did, the last two videos, this is pretty standard now. We know that if you tab
Empty table row 5
you've got your
desktop home
all your different folders.
Table.
So if I'm gonna go tab
desktop documents
I'm
download
gonna go to my downloads folder and open that.
no row select customer delight.
And I've got some sample packs here from a company called That Sound. And I downloaded these for free. If you just go to their website, there's a free thing. You click that, you can download these. Just enter your email, make an account.
That dash sound dash mint dash 70s dash KIT TS gratis January 2000.
So let's go into one of these. Let's go into this guy.
No row selected. TS 1985 for.
And there's a ton of stuff in here.
TS 1993.
So let's start by finding a kick.
TS boots and clap free.
Let's try. Oh, this might work.
No row select beef stomp A.
Oh yeah.
Huge church.
Yeah, perfect.
Stomp.
These are nice.
NUTS.
So let's see.
Warm knock.
We've got a few in here.
NU. Huge chain. Clap B. Dub. Beef stomp.
Let's try.
Beef.
Let's start with this guy. Now, we could very easily just import this as just a sample on a track, and then use the timeline. But let's just do it through MIDI because that's going to be a lot easier. All I have to do is do VO Shift M to open up this menu. And just go down.
Insert into project.
Keep going down.
Insert a time select. Insert on a new track. Insert into sample player submenu.
And if I go in here.
Insert into sample player submenu. Insert sample player on a new track.
Just press return.
Table.
It's done. It's that easy. Since that was so simple, let's do the clap too.
Chain. Menu. Insert a time. Insert into sample player. Reuse active. Insert sample player on a new track. Table.
Done.
Huge church.
And let's do the stomp as well.
Menu. Insert a time. Insert on a new. Insert in selected media. Insert into sample. Reuse insert sample player on a new track.
That's it. So now we've got 3 samples. Now, you could also use the sample players and just have that be on one track, but that's going to be for another video. We're going to get all into the Reaper sampler because it's actually a lot more powerful than some people might think, and what I thought for quite a while. But just to start, we're going to program these. So I'm going to hit escape to get out of this.
Unsaved.
I could just leave it open, but just for tidiness sake. Now let's label all these tracks.
3, 1 beef stomp A.
Actually, they are labeled.
2 chamber clap B.
Let's just leave them.
3 huge church stomp A.
Yeah, cool. They're here.
1 beef stomp A.
So let's arm this track. And to arm a track, you press just the F7 key.
F7 key. F7 armed.
And it's armed. And you need to arm the track before you can play it. It's kind of like Pro Tools. It's a very similar thing. Logic doesn't have you do this for some reason. I don't know why. But Reaper does make you do that. So the track is now armed. All I have to do is open up my virtual MIDI keyboard. I could use just a MIDI controller if I had that set up. But if I didn't, I could just press Option B.
Virtual.
And by default, you can change this, but by default, any key that you press will trigger the sample. So So any key that you press will just trigger the sample at the same velocity. Now, if you wanted to make it velocity sensitive, you can do that very easily. And again, I will cover that in another video. Actually, no, I'll cover that now because that actually might be something you might need to do, especially if you're programming MIDI parts. So to make this velocity sensitive, let's hide this keyboard right now with Option B again.
Unsaved project.
I'm gonna press F to go into my effects.
FX.
And I don't know if we've talked about this yet, but this is where you go to actually add effects to tracks. We might do some of that today, we'll see. But in this window right now, the only thing that's being displayed is our sampler. If I VO right,
Edit text.
and keep
Blank.
going,
Edit F. No reset. Par 2 out. UI. Check. Resample omit 5000.
that's the sampler.
Beef stomp A.wav. Pop-up button.
That's our sample.
Mode. Sample. Ignores MIDI node. Pop-up button.
That's fine.
Import item from a range. Browse. Button. List. Button.
If you wanted to change the sample, you just do browse and you can choose another one.
Volume. Plus 0.0. Volume. Slider.
That's fine.
Plus dB. Velocity maximum. 127.
That's all right.
1 pan. 0.0. Min volume.
What we want here
Plus 0.0 dB. Velocity minimum. 1. Plus min volume.
is minimum volume.
Plus 0.0. Contents.
This is going to control how low the velocity or the volume is going to be based on your velocity. And Reaper will just scale it. So let's say we didn't want it to be too velocity sensitive, but we also, wanted to have some variation.
Plus 0.
I could type into the field, or I could interact with a slider.
In slider.
And just go down.
Minus 0.2. Minus 0.
There we go. We're just going to go down here.
Minus 1.6.
Sorry, my dictation activated.
Minus 1.
There we go.
Minus 2. Minus 2.8.
But
Out.
it might actually just be
minus 3. Out. Minus
easier to actually type the value in. So I'm going to just do minus
2.
12 and press return.
Minus 12. Gain.
And now,
For minimum velocity, slide.
cool. Now, if I hit escape,
New project.
we've got that. Now, what's going to happen right now is the virtual keyboard, I don't know how to change the velocity. I think you can, but I can't figure it out. What we're going to do, though, instead of using the virtual keyboard, we're actually going to program in the notes, just to show you that you can do that. So no, you know what? No, I've changed my mind. We're going to use the virtual keyboard, and then I'm going to show you how to edit it after the fact to change the velocities. So to record in Reaper, it's the exact same as Logic. You press R. But let's say we wanted to customize our metronome and do some things like have a count in. That's really easy to do. First off, let's make sure the metronome is on by pressing Command-Shift-M.
Metronome on.
It's on now. If I hit play,
Play.
we hear it. Yep. Cool.
Stop.
And I'm going to press Option-Shift-M to go into my metronome settings.
Metronome in pre-roll settings window. Enable metronome. Check.
And then here, it's just a case of going to the right.
Button.
There's a little button here.
Run metronome during playback. Checked. Count in before playback. Unchecked. Checkbox.
We don't want that.
Run metronome during recording. Count in before recording. Unchecked. Checkbox.
We do want that, though.
Checked. Count in measures. 2. Contents select.
Now, by default, it's set to 2. I'm just going to have it set to 1
1.
and go to the right.
Start count in at start of measure. Unchecked. Checkbox.
That's fine.
Metronome settings. Primary beat volume.
You can change all these settings if you want, but I'm just going to hit escape.
Unsaved pro.
And let's slow the tempo down. Option minus and plus will do that.
100.
Let's go to
106 BP. 100 BPM.
let's go to like 100 BPM. Seems like a good tempo. Now, here's the only thing you need to be aware of. Part of the reason I have this count in is to give me time to actually get the virtual keyboard up, because when you press any key, it's going to play a note. So pressing R in there is not going to do anything. You may be able to change that, but by default, it won't do anything. Also, unlike other DAWs, if you have the count in set up and you try to play while the count in is going on to find your note, the audio is not going to play. You're not going to hear anything. I'm not sure if there's a way to fix that, and I'm not a huge fan of that, honestly, but that's how it is. So there are ways you could work around that. If you didn't want to count in, you could start everything on bar 2, and then if you really wanted, you can move it over. But just for this, it's okay. We'll leave it. So I'm going to press R. It's going to count me in, and then I'm going to just play a simple 2-bar beat, and then we'll just duplicate it out.
Record. Virtual. Save all.
Now hitting space does work. Now it's asking me here if I like what I did. Now, obviously I haven't heard it yet, so I don't know, but I'm just going to hit space again, and it will save everything.
Virtual.
You can turn that off as well if you don't like it. Now let's go back to our main window. I'm just going to press escape to
Unsaved.
get out of here, and let's listen to it.
Play.
Beautiful. And it was smart enough to end at where I stopped. So let's quantize this now. And that's really easy to do. I'm going to press Command Option E, and we're going to go into the Midi Editor.
Piano roll. Checked. Check.
So before we quantize anything, let's actually talk about how this Midi Editor works. It's pretty cool. What I'm able to do is if I press...
Quick nav on.
My standard navigation keys work in here, so page up and down.
Bar 2, bar 1, B2, B3.
Command Shift page up and down, or sorry, Command page up and down rather.
B2, B1.
Option Shift left and right to move by the grid.
13%, 25%, 38%, 50%.
There we go, now we're halfway through the beat.
0%.
Now I'm back at the beginning. And if I wanted to move through the notes, it's just like Logic. You press left and right arrow.
1%, 1 note. B2 49%, 1 note. B3 54%.
Now I see all the timings all over the place.
Beat 1.
Now, let's talk about velocity and how to change all these different settings. In Logic, you have to go through different menus to do this. So if I wanted to change the velocity, I would have to go into the inspector. I would have to find the velocity thing. I would have to do that. In Reaper, you do none of that. They're all assigned to keys on your keyboard, and we have re-access to thank for that. So to change velocity, it's V, right? Because V for velocity. V goes up, Shift V goes down. And then there are other keys to do smaller increments. I believe it's, Option, I believe. Option V and Option Shift V will go down in either smaller or bigger increments. I can't quite remember now. I think it's bigger. So V and Shift V will go 1 at a time. Option Shift V and Option V, I think, will go 10 at a time. Let's try it out.
E4 127. E4 117.
Yep, I'm correct. So Option V and Option Shift V go 10 at a time. If I go down...
E4. E4.
Do you hear it's getting quieter?
E4.
And why is it getting quieter? Is because that's what we set
E4.
in the sampler.
E4 1.
See? So let's actually keep this at 100% for velocity for now.
E4 11. E4 91. E4 120.
Cool. Also, the reason it kind of sounds like a machine gun right now is because there's only one sample. We can fix that. But for this demo, we're not going to worry about it. We're just going to make a simple beat. And then in the next few videos, I'm going to get more into using Reaper's plugins and effects, and we'll talk all about that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just go through and modify the velocities a little bit.
B2.
So for this one, I'm going to make it a bit softer.
E4.
There we go.
Beat 1. B2.
Actually, you know what I'll do?
E4.
A bit louder. Make this one softer.
E4. Beat. E4. Beat. E4. Beat.
There we go.
Bar 2.
Yep. Louder again.
Beat.
Softer a bit.
E4. Beat 4. E4. 1 note. B3.
Yeah.
Bar 1.
Let's listen to it. Now I messed up a little bit.
1 note. B2. B3. B4.
Also, it's worth noting, unlike Logic, if you press space at any point, if you're moving through notes, it will start the timeline at that note.
98%.
So you can hear it in context. So for this,
E4 30. E4
I
37.
actually want to go up.
E4. Bar 2. B3 40.
And take this one down.
E4. B4. E4.
There.
Bar.
Cool. Not perfect. Maybe
1. B.
this one can come down
E4 30.
a little bit. There we go. Cool.
Beat. E4. B3. Beat.
Up a little bit.
E4. Beat 4.
There.
Bar 1.
Beautiful. So you can tell it's really easy to do. Now, what about other aspects like note and length and things like that? Well, they're just assigned to whatever, the word starts with. So note obviously is N, length is L, position is P, and velocity is V. And I think there are a few other ones that I might be missing. So with all that, you have all the control you would need to insert MIDI or to edit MIDI. We're going to talk about inserting MIDI next when we get to the next track. But for now, let's quantize this. So to quantize, you set your grid, and to do that, we did that in the last video. If you've configured your keys correctly, and I think I showed this to you in the last video, you should be able to just press Command Shift and whatever number keys you want. So
Piano roll. Check.
whoops. Oh, maybe not. Oh, whoops. No, I pressed the wrong key. Let's escape out of there.
Dismiss popover button.
If I can't. Whoops. Where are we?
Enter label.
Oh, whoops. No, we don't want that.
Reaper.
Let's escape out of there.
Named notes.
Let's close
Minimize
this.
button. Close. Unsaved prod. 2. 1 arm.
And I'll open the piano roll again.
Piano roll.
There we go. Now we're good.
Unsaved.
Let me make sure.
Midi. Piano roll. Unsaved. Piano roll. Midi take. A 1 beef
Oh,
stump.
we got 2 in here. Okay, let's close
Zoom. Close.
all these windows.
Unsaved prod. Piano.
Let's close this guy.
Zoom button. Minimize button. Close.
I'll select the item again
101.
and hit Command Option B or E or yep.
Piano roll.
Yeah, Command Option E. There we go. Now we're all set. Cool. Sorry about that. So back to what I was saying with the grid. Command Shift 1 through 0.
Grid whole. Grid half. Grid 32nd. Grid quarter.
And that's going to be important later. As well, I believe it's Option Shift and the number keys. Nope. Well, let's see. Command Option Shift. Nope. I can't remember these key combinations. Let's try.
Grid quarter. Grid quarter triplet.
Let's see.
Grid quarter.
I believe it's Control Shift. So Command Shifts.
Grid quarter.
Do your...
Length quarter.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I am totally wrong. It's Command. So Command Shift will do your grid.
Grid quarter triplet. Grid 16th.
Like that.
Grid 8th.
That's what you're navigating by when you actually are moving with Option Shift left and right. Then just Command on its own will do your length.
Length 16th. Length 8th.
That's the length of the note that you insert into the timeline. And we're going to talk about that later. There is a setting to have that persist across when you change the grid. It will also change the length at the same time. I would recommend having that on unless you are doing like melodies or things like that. And I believe you can always change the length afterwards. So even if you change the grid to 16th, you could change the length to quarter if you want. But by default, it will keep it at whatever the grid is set to keep them in sync. And we'll talk about this in just a little bit as well. So we'll come back to this grid thing. But let's quantize these notes. I'm going to go to the right with the voiceover cursor.
Event list. Unchecked. Checkbox.
Keep going.
Music. Rectangle. Triangle. Diamond. Filter. Track list. Quantize. Unchecked.
We want quantize. I'm going to check this box and it's going to open up a new window.
Quantize events. Window. Manual.
Okay. We have a few different options here. We can quantize manually, and that's what I'm going to do just to make it easier. Or if we already had the grid set to what we wanted, we could choose grid. But I'm going to go to the right.
Bypass. Unchecked. Checkbox.
Keep going.
Quantize. All notes. Pop-up button.
Yep, all notes is fine.
Position and note length. Pop-up button.
Yep, that's good.
Strength. 100. Quantize strength. Slider.
That's the strength you want. I don't want it to be 100.
99.
Let's go with like...
70. 71. 70.
70. Let's go with that.
Out of 70. Percent. Grid. 1/8. Combo box.
Now this is your grid. Now,
Quick nav on.
this is a combo box. This isn't a pop-up menu. So to adjust anything, you press
1/
your down and up arrows when you're on this control.
1/8. 1/4.
I'm going to
Text.
change it to 16th notes.
1/16.
And then I'm going to press return.
1/6.
And that will change it. Now if I go to the right, I may have to stop interacting.
1/8. 1/16. Text.
Yeah, and I do have to stop interacting, so I'm going to do that.
Out of list 1 items. 1/16. Out of combo box. Strip. 1/16.
There we go. This is more of a voiceover issue than a Reaper issue. VoiceOver doesn't have the best implementation of combo boxes, but you're able to get the stuff done. So we're all good there. Then if I go to the right,
Straight. Pop-up.
this is straight. This is just a pop-up button.
Menu checkmark. Triplet. Dotted. Swing.
So you've got straight,
Swing.
swing.
Checkmark.
Let's do swing.
Swing. Swing. Pop.
I'm going to go to the right.
Length. Grid. Combo box.
That's fine. We'll leave that alone.
Swing strength. 50. Quantize swing strength. Slider.
So this is your swing strength. I'm going to leave this and let's just see what it does.
50%. Move left. Checked. Allow notes to. Move right.
So we've got a lot of options here.
Shrink. Check. Grow. From. Only quantize range. 0% equals on grid. 50% equals between grid. 0. Quantize low end of range. Slider.
Logic has this too. And this will help if your stuff is like really sloppily played. I guess you can sort of control how forgiving it is. I think. I'm not going to mess with this because this is really advanced, but you can do all sorts of stuff with the quantization here.
0% to 100%. Fixed overlaps. Checked. Checkbox.
That's fine.
Commit button. OK.
Now, commit will actually write it into the MIDI. If you just press OK here, it's just going to put it in and you can change it. That's what I'm going to do.
MIDI take.
And let's listen to what it did. Let's just hit play. Hey, it got a swing going. And so we didn't need to adjust the swing value. I think the swing 16ths will just sort of apply something already. But if you were to just do regular 16ths, you could adjust the swing to whatever you wanted. Cool. So we got a little thing going. We got a little groove. I'm going to hit escape to get out of here. Or not. Let's actually just close the window instead.
Unsaved project.
Command W. There we go.
101.
And let's just duplicate this out and see what happens.
Play.
Let's go to the beginning.
Play. Stop.
Okay, so it ended a little bit
201 East.
a little bit prematurely. I guess post-maturely. That's a new word. Let's delete this item.
One item.
And I'll just do a quick split. I believe I showed this in my last video as well. So I'm going to go to bar 5.
Bar 5.
With our page up and down. And I'm just going to press S.
0 items added. 101.
Let's see. Or maybe not. Let's see here. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not 5 bars. It's 2.
Bar 2. Bar 3.
So bar 3.
1 item added.
There.
201 East.
And let's just delete it.
1 item removed. 101.
There. Now let's duplicate and it should delete perfectly.
Play.
Perfect. We're just going to make a little 4-bar loop to start.
2 chamber clap B.
Okay, let's do this clap. First off,
1 arm B.
I'm going to unarm this track.
F7 key button unarmed.
It's generally a good practice to do that as soon as you're done recording so you don't have any issues later, like multiple tracks playing at once, things like that.
2 chamber clap B.
Okay, arm this guy.
F7 key but armed.
We know the drill by now. Now, actually, what I'll do, let's try this. I'm going to set up a time selection. So to do that, I'm going to press left bracket at bar 1.
Set selection start.
And I'm going to go to the end of the project.
Bar 5.
And that's bar 5. And I'm going to press right bracket.
Set selection end.
And what that has done now is it's set up a selection. So when I press record, what should theoretically happen, I haven't actually tried this yet, but what should happen is it will only record in that area and nowhere else. So when I'm done, it will stop automatically for me. So let's give it a try. I'm going to press R, pull up that keyboard, and just play a pattern here.
Record. Virtual.
Or not. Let's see what happened here.
Save all.
I'm just gonna
delete all button.
Delete all here.
Okay. Delete cancel. Okay.
Yep.
Virtual.
So yeah, our thing is going. Let's go to the beginning
bar
and
1.
see what happens.
Play. Stop. Play.
Okay. So
stop.
It's
3 huge 2 arm chain 1 E stop 2.
Yeah. Let's try that again. I'm not totally sure what happened there.
Record. Virtual.
Okay, there we go. Now it worked. Yeah. Let's just see if it stops. It did not. Okay. So let's stop it.
Save.
I'm going to delete that.
Delete all. Okay. Okay. Cancel. Okay. Virtual.
And let's try it again.
Unsave.
I apologize for this, guys.
Play. Stop.
Again, it's a learning experience for me as well, so...
Set selection start.
Let's try.
Bar 5.
This again.
Set selection end.
And record.
Record.
Okay, interesting. So, if you have a time selection, it seems like what's going to happen is it's not going to play the other tracks. Interesting. Okay.
Save.
So that's good to know for the future.
Delete.
I'm going to delete that.
Okay. 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 Virtual.
And I'll have to look into that. I'm not totally sure why it's doing that.
Clear time loops.
So let's just clear that.
1 2 arm chain.
And I'll just record it the normal way this time.
Record.
Let's see. Maybe.
Save. Delete.
Now we're losing audio. Let's see what's going on here.
Okay. 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 Delete one file. Okay. Virtual.
Let's see.
Bar. Play.
Okay,
stop.
We're there.
1 2 arm chain.
Okay, we'll try this one more time. This should work this time, hopefully.
Record.
There we go.
Save all.
Whoops.
Delete.
I hit the space bar by accident.
Okay. Okay. Cancel.
Try that one more time.
Okay. Virtual.
One more time here.
Unsave. Record. Virtual. Save.
Cool.
Virtual.
There we go. I apologize for that again.
Unsave. 2 arm.
Yeah, I'm not sure why the time selection thing didn't work. That seems strange to me. I'll have to look into that more. But we've got our little track going, so let's do our same routine with quantizing.
Piano roll. Native. Music. Rectangular. Triangular. Diamond. Filter. Track list. Quantize.
I'm going to leave our settings
Cancel.
alone and just
Okay.
say okay.
Midi tape.
There we go. And I'm just going to use the first 2 bars of that because they're the same.
Virtual.
So I'm going to
Unsafe.
hide the keyboard.
2 arm.
Yeah, hide the keyboard. There we go. Okay, go to
Bar 2.
bar 2.
1 item. 202.
Delete.
1 item. 102.
And just duplicate that out.
102 selected. 4 play.
There. Beautiful.
Bar 1.
Cool. So we got that. Now we've got a stomp.
F7 key
here.
but unarmed. 3 huge church stomp 8.
This guy.
F7 key
Let's,
but armed.
Listen to this.
Vert.
Let's have that be on the 1. Okay? Now, instead of actually recording it, though, I'm going to program it in with MIDI. So let me unarm this track because we don't need to do it for this.
F7 key button unarmed.
Let's hide this keyboard.
Unsaved.
And
3 huge.
what I'm going to do, now this time I will make a time selection. So I'm going to start at bar 1.
Set selection start.
And I'm going to just go to
Bar 3.
bar 5.
Bar 5. Set selection end.
And I'm going to now open the insert menu.
Menu. Insert. Media file. New MIDI item.
And choose new MIDI item.
New MIDI.
Now what that's done is it's made a new MIDI item that's 5 bars long. And if I command left and right arrow to get to it.
One huge church stomp. Hey, untitled MIDI item.
We've got our MIDI item here. Command Option E.
Piano roll.
And now we're going to actually get into inserting notes. This is where the grid is quite important. And actually, before we do anything, let me get out of here for a second.
Clear time loop.
Whoops, I just lost my
Selection.
time selection. That's okay though.
Minimize. Close.
I'll
Unsaved.
just make it again.
One. Set select. Bar 5. Set.
There. Before we do anything else, when you are working in the MIDI editor, the grid is separate from Reaper's main view. And for a while, I thought you couldn't actually do anything about that, but you can. If I press G,
Snap/grid settings window. Show grid. Line spacing.
that's fine. I'm going to go to the end.
Use the same grid division in Arrange View and MIDI Editor.
I'm going to click on that.
Checked.
I'm going to check that. Now they're synced up. So if I make a change to the grid value in the Arrange view, the MIDI editor will follow and vice versa. I'm going to press Escape.
Unsaved.
And now
One.
I'm going to go back to
MIDI take.
the MIDI editor. And there's one more setting I want to change, and that's the length setting. I'm going to go to the end.
All channels. Chamber clap B. Pop-up button.
Go to the left.
Velocity. Color. Key snap. Grid. Notes. Straight. Pop 1/8. Combo. Grid. Repeat button.
So
Grid.
the grid
1/
is 1/8 hertz right now.
Straight. Pop-up. Notes.
And notes,
Grid.
that's fine.
Key snap.
But if I go to the left,
Repeat. Go to end. Stop. Pause. Play. Go to stop. Doc editor. Step sequencing. Snap to grid.
see.
Show grid. Check. CC selection. Quantize. Track. Fill. Diamond. Triangle. Rect. Music. Event. Name. No.
so maybe we don't need to do anything.
All. Change. Color. Key snap. Grid. Combo box. Notes. Straight. Pop-up button. 1/8. Combo.
Yeah, that's all fine.
Grid. 1/ straight. Pop-up button.
Interesting. I think we're actually okay.
Notes. Grid. Combo box. Key snap. Unchecked.
Yeah, I think we're actually fine. If I change the note length here.
Length 32nd. Straight. 1/32.
Yes, so actually this is fine. So by default, what's happening here, I'm going to change the grid. If I can.
Length quarter.
Whoops, now will let me. Go back here.
Grid quarter.
There we go.
Grid quarter.
change it
Grid 16
to
triplet. Grid eighth.
Eighth and go back.
MIDI take. Straight. 1/4. Notes.
So you see the length is not updating. If I go into this combo box though,
1/4. Quick nav on.
again with up and down arrows, I'm going to change it to grid,
1/1.
which is
Grid.
all the
Text.
way at the bottom. Press return.
Selection.
There, now it's set to grid.
Out of list 1. No. Grid.
Beautiful.
Chi.
Now we're all good there. I'm going to press escape for a second. Or nope, I'm going to go up to the top and
Close.
get out of here and come back in.
One.
There we go. So now what's happened here is our grid is set so when we change the grid like this,
Grid quarter. Grid half.
the length will follow, so we'll be all set.
Grid quarter.
It will insert quarter notes at the quarter grid, and we'll be all good to go. If we want to change the length, we can do that, but we then have to actually come back and set that to be grid again if we want to preserve that. There might be a keyboard shortcut to do that as well. I'm not sure yet. I'll have to look into that, but this is how I do it for now. So
Grid quarter.
because all we really need is just like 2 notes, I'm just going to leave it at quarter. Now, to actually insert notes, it's really simple. I'm going to go to the position where I first want to insert my first note. So I'm going to go to bar 1. And I'm already at bar 1, so it didn't say anything. And I'm just using the standard keys to do that.
Bar 2, bar 1.
Like that. And to actually move between the notes, instead of pressing left and right arrow, that's going to move you through the notes you've already got. But to actually select a note to insert, it's Option up and down arrow.
D4, C#4, C4.
Now, VoiceOver is telling you what note you're going to insert. They all sound the same right now just because the sample is exactly the same. But if we were to have different samples on each key or have a synthesizer, you would get different notes. And to insert notes, you press I.
C4 1 beat, B2.
That's it. And it moves you to the next beat automatically. I'm going to go to bar 3.
Bar 2, bar 3.
And make sure I'm at beat 1 with Option Shift left arrow.
Beat 1.
And press I again.
C4 1 beat, B2.
There. Now, again, I think I may have said this before, but you have to make sure, and this is the other sort of annoying thing about Reaper, is the page up and down keys will respect the beat or grid you're currently on. That's fine if you need to do things like inserting snare rules or things like that, but if you are trying to make sure that you're on bar, the first beat of each bar, you're gonna have to do a little more work than in other DAWs to get that to work. But and again, there may be settings to change that. I don't know yet. I'll have to look into it, but it's not a huge problem to solve. You also can just use the jump dialog, which I believe I've talked about. I believe it is Command J.
3.2.0.
Yep, it's Command J, and just type in, say we want bar 1, press return.
1 MIDI.
We're at bar 1 now. And we can confirm that if I go page down.
Bar 2 beat 1, bar 1.
We're at bar 1.
Bar 2, bar 1.
There we go. So now we've got our kick, or our reinforced stomp sample in here. So if I hit play, there we go. Cool, so we've got our sample in here. Now we could do things like, for example,
bar 3 1.
And now I'm pressing left and right arrow.
Bar 1 1.
And you see the notes are right there. If I wanted, let's say I change the grid value to something quite small. Let's do like 30-second notes.
Grid 30-second.
Now, this isn't ideal because what you actually really want is something more like minutes and seconds, which you can set.
Grid 30-second triplet.
But, for this,
Grid 8th triplet. Grid 8th.
you kind of only have these options.
Grid 16. Grid quarter. Grid 30-second.
But actually, let's look. I'm going to go into shortcut help for a second, and remember to do that. It's just the F12 key.
F12 key. Shortcut help on.
And if I press those letters that I talked about earlier.
Edit. Move notes right 1 grid unit.
I pressed P. If I do Option P.
Edit. Move notes right 1 pixel.
There. That's actually what I want. I'm going to get out.
F12 key button. Here. Shortcut help off.
So P and Shift P will move the position of the notes by the grid. And Option P and Shift P will move them by pixel. And what pixels are basically whatever unit you are zoomed into. So to zoom in and out, it's minus and equals on the number row on the top of the keyboard. It doesn't work in here, but if I go to the regular range view and do it.
120 pixels second. 100 pixels second.
So it's saying 100 pixels equals 1 second.
83.3333 pixels second. 69.4444 pixels second. 100 pixels second.
So I'm going to leave it at 100 pixels a second.
MIDI take.
I'm going to go back, and I'm going to move these
bar
just a little bit off. So Option P.
2% C4. 4% C.
And let's listen to it.
0%.
A little more.
10%.
Okay, I'm going to zoom in.
Unsafe. 100, 200.
And I'm
MIDI
going to move it back.
8%, 6%, 4%, 6, 8, 12%, C4, 10%, 8, 2%, C4, 2, 6%.
Yeah, that kind of works.
8, 10, 12, 14, 21%.
So you can
C.
kind of move it
2%, 0.
where you want.
Unsafe.
If I zoom in a little more,
5, 600.
really get in there.
1%.
I'm pressing right arrow now.
0.
Just to check.
MIDI take.
If I go back, let's see if it changes.
2%, 4%, 8, 10%, 12, 14, 16, 19, 20, 1%.
So it doesn't seem to actually change in here, but let's say maybe the zoom is different.
23%, 25%.
Interesting. It doesn't seem to want to...
27, 19, 14, 12,
So there seems to only be like so far you can go before
10%, 8%, 6%.
you've got issues. I'm not sure. Hopefully someone can correct me on this. I'm not totally sure how to get it to be a little more fine than this, but it's all right. You know, for this demo,
4%.
just move it a little bit off, and you're good. You got it. Maybe changing the grid might help. So
Grid
if I changed it to 30-second and try it again.
6%, 4%, C4.
Nope. So it still wants to just move in 2% increments at a time, which is fine. That's okay. I'm not totally sure why it doesn't respect the zoom and the arrange. Maybe that's another setting you need to change. But either way, it works, and you can make little micro adjustments, sort of, to your thing here. So we got this now. So yeah, this is our little groove that we got going on. Just to finish it off,
Clear time loop selection.
gonna clear that. Well, let's hide this MIDI editor.
Close.
Right now we don't really have any hi-hats, so let's go back to the Media Explorer and try and find like a hi-hat loop or something.
Media.
So let's turn on tempo match.
Auto start. Tempo match. Tempo.
And
Auto.
we'll just browse.
TS cinematic pop free.
So you can find something. Maybe something in here.
No row select loops for. No row set. 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 Not.
Let's see.
Not. Not.
Oh, there's one. All right. Let's put that in. Insert on a new track.
Menu. Insert into project. Insert on a new track. Table.
And let's take a listen.
0%. Play.
There we go.
Stop.
This is too long.
193. Macchio.
And actually, what's really cool, it will insert the track and then move you directly to it, so you don't need to navigate away and come back or anything like that.
Bar 5.
I'm just gonna
One
split it.
Okay. No time selection. Okay. On 293. One item.
There we go.
1. Play.
Beautiful.
Stop.
So we could now do a little mixing.
493. 3 huge.
This stomp is
Track
quite loud. Let's turn him down by a lot if I can.
minus 2 point minus 2.
The volume up and down commands are quite small, like fine, so it takes a little bit to really get it.
Minus 6. Play.
That's better.
Stop.
Turn the kick down
2 chamber 1.
a little bit as well.
Minus 0.
Do like -1.
Minus 1.90.
And turn the
4.
hi-hat
Minus 0.
down quite a bit.
Minus 3 point.
There we go.
Play.
Beautiful.
Met.
Yeah, we got it. So we could just go through, and if we wanted to extend this, we could, duplicate it out. Let's try one more experiment. I know this video is a lot of experimenting, but let's try this. If I make a time selection, and also let me select all the items. No, I'll make the time selection first. I'll do
Set selection start. Bar 5. Set
I'm going to press Command Option A.
1 item selected.
Okay, that didn't work. Maybe
8 items selected. 1 item selected.
let's see.
1 item selected.
Option Shift? Nope.
F12 key button
Let's see.
shortcut. Item. Select all items in track. Item. Select all items on selected tracks and current time selection.
Option Shift A. Okay. So what I'll
F12
do,
key shortcut.
select all the tracks
8 items.
and Option Shift A.
8 items selected.
There. Now that didn't do much because everything's already in the time selection. But if I press Command D now, that should duplicate everything out to 8 bars. Let's try that.
Bar 1. Play.
And it did not. Okay, great.
Play.
Let's get to
Stop.
Yeah. So this. Oh wait, hold on. It might just be because I have the
Cleared.
time selection.
Bar 2.
set up. Let's go
Bar
to bar
5.
5 and
Play.
yeah, it did. Never mind.
Bar.
So that did work exactly how I wanted. Perfect. So yeah, Reaper, as you can kind of tell, it's a little odd. There are a few things where I kind of think to myself, oh, why is it doing it this way? But for the most part, the way it works makes sense. And again, hopefully this video has kind of shown that it's not all smooth sailing. There are a few things that can go wrong. And we'll just work through them together, because I'd rather see have you see me mess up and have a problem, rather than it be perfect all the time, and then you think, oh, there's going to be no issues, and then you're going to run into issues, and you'll be like, oh, well, that never came up in the video. So, um, yeah. What we could do, just one last thing, let's try and find one more loop to add to the second half of this.
Media. Table. Desktop.
Let's see.
Home. Movie.
Go back to my downloads folder now.
Downloads. Saturday. That dash sound. TS.
Yeah, here we go.
TS dark shell free.
I forgot. It's really cool. It actually keeps you in wherever place you were before, so you don't have to arrow around too much.
No rows. Loops variety. No rows. 100 all.
Yeah, that's good, right? Let's try just one more. Yeah, this one. Let's do this one for the second half. Let me move to bar 5.
Unsaved. Bar 2. Bar 5. Media.
And just press
table.
Find that table and just press via Shift M.
Menu. Insert on a new track.
And there we are.
Unsaved. 100.
Just in case.
Bar 6.
We'll go to bar 9 and split.
0 items added.
And we didn't split, so then we're probably fine. Let's listen to it.
Bar. Play.
Turn it down a
track
little bit.
Minus 1.4.
And let's see what it sounds like. Nice. Cool. It's a little off time, but it works. And again, we could, add more, do things like changing the speed of this if I wanted to make it a bit faster.
108 BPM.
And some of this, again, is MIDI, and some of it is audio, but it all stretches.
Play.
A bit more.
1.
There we go. So yeah, there you go. We made a really simple beat, but we used some MIDI. I showed you how to insert MIDI notes. And the ability to actually insert MIDI notes instead of having to play them by hand can be quite powerful, especially if you're trying to do, those epic, guitar, fake guitar solos. You're going to do all those triplets. If you can't play those on the keyboard, you can program them in. It'll take longer, sure, but it will work, and you're able to have all the triplets and variations you want. So, yeah, there you go. That's how to insert MIDI and edit MIDI and have samples and import some loops. So in the next few videos, we're going to talk more about MIDI, and we'll actually start looking at some plugins. I'll show you a few third-party plugins that work well in Reaper. One in particular that I'm really excited about. That's a Juice-based plugin that's about to officially be released soon. And we'll just take it from there. Any questions you guys have, please let me know. I'm planning on also covering some automation stuff. We're going to do things with stretch markers. That'll be pretty fun. And there's quite a bit. And hopefully it won't be as problematic as this video with those issues that we had earlier. So, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. This was really fun to put together, even if it was a little bit shaky towards the middle there. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. And I'll see you back here a lot sooner than you might think. All right. Bye-bye.
Sir, Wi-Fi, battery, stop recording.